The idea of today is that we would like to present to you what RINA has done as a digital proposal for everybody's talking about digitalization coming to cities. So we would like to present to you what is the RINA strategy of this kind of approach, what services we offer, and how this can be useful to our clients, we believe, in the future, make the difference. We ask you to come in this place because we have the installation of the Fleet Operations Center. In this afternoon we have the Hellenic Advisory Committee, our ship owners executive committee, that we are going to discuss about it as well. So this is the reason of being here in this nice place. And thank you for coming. That's from my side. I would like to ask Paolo Moretti, which is our Executive Vice President of Marine, to give us better overview of the strategy, and then of course Alessandro will present in detail what we're going to do today. Paolo. Thank you.
Thank you, Spiros. Kalimera. Thank you, everybody. So I have the pleasure today just to illustrate you what is our strategy as a group, not only as Marine in terms of digitalization. Maybe I will move this side. So we have prepared all these screens just to give a little bit of touch of what we have in mind. So there are pure marine application and others that are more related to our other type of businesses. So let's start, first of all, having a look to the digital transformation is something that in all industry, there is no way back. It's really something that day by day is increasing, and it is foreseen that by 2020 we will have 75 billion of devices connected. Almost 50% of the large companies will make an in-depth use of this digitalization in terms of artificial intelligence, Internet of Things. So really utilize these technologies for increasing their business and improving their efficiencies. And there will be almost $1 trillion spent in, for example, in the blockchain technologies. And one of the clear evidence of what we are discussing is the fact that nowadays, if you go to the stock market, the big giants are no more the oil companies. So we can really say that today value is represented by the data. These are the real, let's say, valuable asset rather than the oil that was in the past. If we look to what is Amazon, how they are positioned in the stock market, Amazon, Tesla, Facebook, and so on. The so-called data explosion, we call it the data doubling time. Why? Because as you may know very well, in 2017, in 1 year, between the whole 2017, we doubled the data that were produced by the entire mankind from, let's say, the ancient age up to the end of 2016. We consider that this doubling time in 2027 will be 12 hours. So imagine really, this is just to give a figure of how we are proceeding in this technology, what means, things that sometimes we don't give the correct importance of being connected with the Instagram or Twitter, with the value social, the amount and the exchange of data that every day we are part of this chain, and how important they are for all type of economies. So, as I said before, is really a transformation. They call it the fourth industrial revolution. We consider that this will impact, first of all, because it will be more spread in the various geographies and communities, and also because at the end it will have the power really to change also the competitors, to change the type of jobs. They say that probably kids that have just who are born now in 20 years, they will be employed in positions that now don't even exist. And of course, what today are our competitors in our, let's say, particular type of business, probably in the future they will not be there. There will be others. So this is, as I said before, rather than evolution and transformation. The shipping in this has been always quite a conservative industry. We always seen the ship quite in an insulated environment, sometimes even with the communication problems, because of course the connectivity has always been, and the cost of connectivity, an issue for shipping, so quite disconnected from the rest of the world, so trading globally but somehow very much insulated. And so to some extent, compared to other industry, it has been a little bit, I wouldn't say reluctant, but more conservative towards innovation. If we consider what is happening, for example, with aerospace or automotive industry. In cars, for example, we are already changing the paradigm. We are really shifting from a model in which we sell the asset, the car, the real car, from a model in which we are somehow selling services. The same is happening from a very long time in the jet industry. Now it's really more a matter of selling hours of flying and the services connected to the asset itself. Let's consider that the jet is producing 1 terabyte, several terabytes of data in less than 1 day, still for a very equipped, sensor-equipped container vessel, container vessel of the last generation. We still need weeks to generate this. But of course, we have to consider that the ship in this new transformation is no more insulated like it was before. It's not isolated, it's part of a digital supply chain where of course there is the pressure coming from the end consumer, coming from the ports, coming from the transport, the suppliers. So if these players, and we know for sure that they are doing it, they are transforming themselves from the digital point of view, there is no reason why shipping will remain stable doing business as it was before in this new digital supply chain. So even if shipping doesn't want, it will have to change. But we see it already. We see Amazon that is entering in the shipping world somehow, let's say, creating, renting, finding freight space. We see it because Maersk sometimes believes that their competitors is more players like Amazon rather than other company engaging in the shipping. And we see it also because even in the shipping side, in the manufacturer side, we start seeing and experiencing companies like engine manufacturers or let's say navigational equipment or other that are trying to integrate more and more the value system and to sell it. Rather than to sell an engine, to sell a real engine as a service, so to sell all the data interpretation and all the insights that are coming from the information that you retrieve and that you constantly get from your equipment. So even across the life cycle aspect of the shipping, there are already signs of this change. So that's why we believe that really at the end, the ship itself has to position itself at the center of this new digital ecosystem and really being equipped and capable of transmitting ashore, transmitting to the various stakeholders all the data that are necessary for doing benchmarking, for giving insights, for improving the value of the asset. But of course, we are not talking just of simply of machines. There is always the need of having also the cutting-edge human technology in place. So we always need some experienced people that can interpret the data, and then they can really provide value added from what is extracted from this data. So giving the proper insights and the proper addressing at the end the ship owner or the manager of an oil platform or of an industrial asset on how to increase the value of its asset. So basically what we have decided to do in RINA, since we have this advantage of working in first of all in various industries, not only the marine but also, as I said before, in the oil and gas, in the transport and infrastructure, and we have this recognized authority of being a third party of transform ourselves and also transform the way we relate with our clients, with our customers, because at the end we believe that we are in the position of getting this data, interpreting them, getting data also from other technologies, as I said before, like the oil and gas, like the transport and infrastructures, and at the end having the possibility of really retrieve information from this data and provide insights and provide trends, benchmarking, and tools for our clients on how to improve their asset management, how to save on the fuel consumption, how to reduce risks, how to improve their maintenance, and so how to increase the efficiency of their maintenance cycle, not just doing the maintenance because it's overdue, because there are the running hours, but because there is the real need, according to what is coming from the sensor and what is coming from the algorithm and the artificial intelligence that we have put in place. So what we have basically done at the end is we have created RINA Cube, that is a digital platform, cloud-based, based on Microsoft technologies, and is a platform that is of course scalable and capable of getting all these terabytes of data that are originated from our clients, but also from our internal processes, because of course also us, we are doing surveys, inspections, reports, trainings. We are of course always relating with external databases, things in the shipping, the various vetting databases for state control, right ships, so institution, oil managers and so on. And so having the possibility of getting, organize all of them, and at the end coming back with the proper insights and added value solutions for our clients. And also, as I said before, the possibility of creating dedicated tool for minimizing and optimizing the energy consumption and increasing, for example, in the so-called seismic, that in application related to infrastructures, monitor assets which have a possible risk about seismics, condition-based maintenance, digital twin, that is again one application that we have started already having in place on assets like oil and gas. And we are already working on the ship itself. So this is an example of a power plant that has been 3D scanned and put in place, and of course then it becomes quite easy for the operator to make training, to select a piece of pipe or a component and immediately retrieve all the characteristics, the documentation, the maintenance expiry day, and so on. So as I said before, this is also the cross information that are coming from the various sectors in which as RINA we are involved. Now I think that I can give the floor to Alessandro, and he will go much more in details of what is the application of our digital strategy in the marine, thus digging a little bit more in what is our RINA Cube for the marine sector.
By the end of the year, so nowadays we find that RINA surveyors goes on board to carry out a survey on board the ship with a checklist of what they have to check on that ship due to the renewal of a certificate. And so the idea is to have this checklist in a, let's say, digital way, so on the smartphone or on a tablet. And based on the ship and the type of visit, they already have all the previous findings as like a history of the survey they have to to carry out, and also the items to check will be ordered by position. So if the surveyor is on the bridge and he has to, let's say, do several surveys, all the items that have to be checked on the bridge will pop up on the smart checklist. So he should not, let's say, go on the bridge twice to check different things. And also he can integrate images, videos, measures taken for sensors, drones, easily in the smart checklist in order to have the survey report. So the goal is to have the survey report when the surveyors goes onshore. This because we realize that surveyors are very busy always, so they go out of they disembark the ship, then they are sent to another ship. They do not have time for office job to draw the survey report. So this was to create, let's say, this survey report in a sort of automatic way and be more efficient in then releasing certificates or providing a feedback to the customer. So this is. I think I finished. So
basically, just to sum up, what we as a company, what we try to propose ourselves is, of course, as a sort of digital orchestrator. Because at the end, there will be several streams and several areas in which the company, the client, the ship owner has made already investments. Because maybe they have already their own software for the maintenance, for the procurement, for the energy governance. But what is important nowadays is not to have all this data divided in very separated silos, containers. What is important is really to integrate them so that at the end you can do the proper retrieval of information and the proper analysis of the data. And if you're getting data from various clients, from various geographies, you also have the possibility of doing the proper benchmarking and tell to your owner, to your ship owners, look, for this particular type of vessels, you are getting too much efficiencies, you don't have a good postage control performance, you should improve your fuel consumption. Plus, of course, the possibility of being in one single digital environment, the one of RINA Cube, in which the ship owner will have at his disposal the certificates, the records, all the documents, all the files, all the drawings, all the logbooks, and having the possibility really to chat and to liaise in a modern and very efficient way with the classification society, of booking a survey, of doing whatever he decides to do with this big amount of data from this single position, with this single platform that is integrating all the data and using the experience of a company like us who has experts and who is traditionally a third party, that is, of course, the company that is, according to us, the right partner recognized by institutions, by insurances, by flags, to have this role of digital orchestrator, of, let's say, giving the proper safeguard, the proper privacy, and the proper value to this big asset that, as we said before, as we see before, are the data. Thank you.
If I may add, Paolo, as long as you have all the data in one place, in a systematic way, and all organized, in my opinion, only your imagination can stop any idea that will come up, how to use it. The most important is to have it. And you have it already, because already you write here, you archive there, you receive from over there. But the idea is to orchestrate, as you said, and as long as you have it orchestrated, then you can play any piece of music that you like. So, in my opinion, it is important that it is in a systematic way all gathered under this umbrella of RINA Cube. This is how I feel, I understand. I'm not an expert on digital, as most of us is not, but this is the way I feel a benefit out of such a system. If there is any question, I think we are among us friends, Paolo, Alessandro would be glad to clarify anything, and myself, of course, or any other thing that you like.
Not a
Yes.
digital one, but is there any feedback from the Greek city community? Do you have any feedback?
We have a feedback, and you will see also in what we had a lot of discussion. Greek city community, you know, we know it. On these kind of things, the Greek city community is very important for us. It's number one in the world, so we respect it. And we are very careful on the way that we propose things to them. So we are in dialogue with them on what they need for this kind of things. This is the reason tonight we are going to present this to the owners. It's a committee, so out of what we propose will come out new ideas on what they want. Practically, we have, for example, from Technomar Shipping, we have started already implementing the system, and you will see it is something we can announce. We started with 2 vessels that we are now working, container ships. And we have other owners that are also interested in that. We have the performance side of it on the whole fleet of MSC. Not yes. Then we have the fleet operating center for D'Amico. Maybe you can give Alessandro or Paolo, you can give some more information outside Greece, I think.
So we will have more news tomorrow and after.
You will have more news. Definitely we can say that Technomar we are working, a couple of other companies we are working on this project. It is not that, let's say, everybody is doing a queue outside, let's say, to buy the product. It's a matter of understanding the benefit out of it and being in the mentality of it. This is what Paolo explained in the beginning, to understand the value of the data we have and how we can make better use of it.
Also because at the end we don't present ourselves like a software house that is coming there and want to sell a product. At the end we are more as a sort of advisor, sitting with them and see which are the type of application they are already using. So at which level, let's say, of digitalization they are already, and try to keep the investments that has been done so far and try to match it with these concepts, always having, of course, into consideration that in the same time ships has to run, has to make business during markets that are not so favorable. And so, of course, there is quite a medium-long, let's say, time project that is working more in really defining the perimeter where we have to come. There are areas in which we go there, they have to start completely from scratch, and so we place all our software and we integrate them in our platform. There are areas in which the client is already to a certain level of digitalization, and so we basically do the integrator of what they have already in their company, and we create all the analytics and give them all the insights. So sometimes with some ship owner, our, let's say, role is more in this data collection and the integration of the various applications. In others, we really provide them the energy governance software, the fleet operation center, the logbook, electronic logbook software, because they didn't make any type of investments in this area. So, of course, shipping is made by thousands of owners, some of them with 3, 4, 5 ships. There are not so many big ship owners, because at the end, you also need to have somebody that is taking care of the data. And so where we also come and we can give them support in making some monthly review of their fleet performance and give them, as we are doing already with some ferry operators, a sort of fleet performance analysis, telling them in this route, in this trade, your consumption, your fuel consumption is, for example, is decreased. Probably there are some maintenance to be performed, and giving them some advices. So this is also another area in which, with some clients, we have started cooperating.
Do you have any other competitors in the market? I mean, other registries?
Of the classification societies, a product like that, I think we have to be proud of being.
Well, I say that it's we have to be frank. It's basically, I think, this type of approach, digital approach, is ourselves and the NGL.
So you're looking for new clients? I mean, outside of
Always.
much more than you have already.
Yes, we would like to take good care of the existing ones, let's say, by offering more services, but definitely we always looking for that.
So this Fleet Operation Center platform includes these 4 monitors, or this is identical?
Yeah, this is a proposal.
Yeah, customization.
The ship owners can set up the control room he likes, depending on how many ships, how he organizes himself, like with a team 24/7 available ashore. Some ship owners just have a control room that is opened when needed, during emergency or to provide support when it's requested. So it's depend on also.
We believe that charterers will press the ship owners to adapt this kind of service.
This is of course a very good question. Of course, in the cruise ships, it came from other, let's say, aspects. There is of course a lot concentrated on the hotel side, on the passengers, on the excursions, and keeping track also of what is going on board the ships, also from the point of view of the hotel management, not only about the safety, engine and deck and cargo as we have on commercial ships. If you think to what is happening with the charter, for example, in particular in the oil and gas or in the offshore side, they are already starting asking for specific measurements. They want to be sure of data measured and monitored. So, for example, the installation of certain sensors is becoming a sort of relic of a specification that is given to the ship from oil majors, from charter. There are more and more requests from vetting, and so I think that somehow, yes, maybe in 5 years, in 10 years, but there will be more and more, in particular when, as you know very well, when there is a market that might be very selective, somehow is also a way to let's say, to make an higher bar, the entry level, and so you can decide that you will charter the vessel only to organization through company which have in place a stronger monitoring from shore, because means that every time there is a failure, you are 100% sure that an email is immediately going, another is going to person on shore, and even if they don't have the 24 hours monitoring by the control room, once they have this alert, they can easily go and see what is happening. And so, for sure, for some institution that could be an evidence that somehow everything is kept more under control, and also, let's say, persons that are on board will be more and more aware that somebody is always continuously looking at what they are doing, not only from the energy point of view, but also from the safety point of view, of course. Then there is also the big, let's say, technology innovation related to the so-called autonomous or unmanned, or in many cases ships with maybe reduced number of crew and with more, let's say, competencies based in a sort of control room like this one. That could be one of the trends of the future, even if on that there is still a lot to be done. And of course, we do not connect our digital services to unmanned or autonomous ships because the data will come independently from the fact that there are crew or not on board. So, coming back to your question, I believe that more and more there will be pressure coming from third parties, from various shareholders, institutions, charters, to increase this type of monitoring.
So the need will come from the regulations themselves, not that somebody would expect that there will be a regulation obliging somebody to install 4 monitors and a fleet operation center. But there are so many rules coming, so many data that are together, like the MRV or this IPC for the emissions or others, that such a system would make compliance easier.
So it's a difference because other systems, not digital systems, they will not make profits for the ship owners. Probably this fleet operation center, comparing the traditional operation department, this will make profit at the end of the day.
The idea is to
saves time, make some profit with security and safety.
I cannot jump into this because one of the major targets of the fleet operation center is to optimize the operation of the ship in terms of fuel consumption and fuel spent by charterer is a big incentive for charterer to ask for these systems to be installed on vessels, to make sure that he's paying, it's optimized what the consumption of the fuel. There are cases in the industry that for long-term charters, is the charterer himself that pays for the system, especially the one for the fuel consumption, in order, because it's an investment for him that is being amortized to the savings they have.
We already see requests in which, for example, the shipping company asks if it's possible, and for example, in our system, it's possible to provide views of particular dashboard to charter party, to oil major, to several departments, different departments, not just inside the company, but also outside. So this is a capabilities of the system. So you can expose some dashboard just to some users, of course. It's already thought like the safety department use the system, the operational department use the system, the technical department use it, but also a charter party or an oil major could have interest in monitoring like the fuel consumption over the voyage for which it's paying the fuel. So
and the reporting comes in a consistent and automatic way. We also have to consider that less paper to be done by the crew board. This is again something important not only for the optimization but also for the safety, because you have a crew that is more dedicated in doing what they are paid for and what we are expecting to do, that is basically conducting the ship, making the maintenance, making the drills. Here at the end everything is based on automatic acquisition, transferring and producing reports. Consistent reports, always done with the same, let's say, framework, that at the end can be sent to the class society, to the flag, to the charter, to the betting. So there is also a big saving in terms of optimization of the resources that are on board.
Can I ask you two questions? The first one has to do with cyber threats. We're talking about thousands and thousands of data being transmitted. And the second question is related to the seafarers. I mean, the deck officers and engineers that have to use all these new systems, and of course the staff in the office. Training, how important is it for these RINA queues in order to be realized at the most?
yeah. Starting from the last, it's true, but there is a lot of turnover on board, but let's say that the manual intervention on board is limited. So Paolo was saying before, it's a lot of data collection is happens in an automatic way. So really the manual inputs on board the system that exist, of course, but are very limited. So it could be, let's say, one dashboard in which every day they put inside the manual input that are not acquired automatically by the system. This could be, I don't know, the quantity of cargo on board, maybe, or I don't know, the loading condition if the ship is not equipped with draft meters or things like that. So really the training needed is ashore, to personnel ashore, and for them, of course, we do it, and because I think it's a key factor of success to have people that are well trained to use the system and exploit all the possibilities from this system. But in that case, there is no turnover of the people, hopefully, or at least limited. So sometimes we have, let's say, very high skilled technical people. Sometimes we have technical people with different extraction, so like ex-seagoing personnel, chief engineer or masters that are not really confident with digital solutions. In some other cases, we have found ex-chief engineer that do courses of data scientists ashore, so they are very, very, very skilled. So But of course, training for them is necessary in order to be confident. And also one thing it's very important is they spend a little bit of time at the beginning to configure the system according to their needs. So I was showing before this kind of rules. So of course there is a setup time in order to have all the, let's say, the paper information coded into the system. But when they really put all the alerts into the system and they start to receive this email alert, chat alert, and so on, they really can improve. They really can, and of course, there is a little bit of effort. For cyber threat, it is of course an issue. We have a system that till now is in read-only mode. So we do not write anything to system on board. And also we talk a lot with the provider of satellite communication because we rely on them for assured connectivity. So we do not have, let's say, we do not bring our solution in terms of ship connectivity, but we rely on the existing one provided by the ship owner. So we talk with them in order to have like the most secure, cyber secure connection with VPN or what else is also matched by company procedures, because different companies use different procedures. Of course, we need remote access to the data collector on board to do maintenance or to do carry out customization, new configuration of new channels to acquire, and so on. But I think that all these topics are very well addressed. We have a team that is an internal team in RINA that have the development of this and also the cyber threats.
Let's say training.
We spoke about training.
You mentioned about training. Just very quickly to say that the training in Greece, we support and we continue to support more, let's say, more of our heart, let's say, more of our heart in the sense that we are going to shift the center of gravity of training from RINA to Greece. So it means that the RINA Academy will be
from Genova we move to
yes,
Paris.
We'll move to Paris because we need that our clients are always asking for training. We have given a lot now. We would like to do more than what we have done. And it was decided that with pleasure we said, okay, we will support this project to make local management of the training from RINA Academy areas. So this is something you will find in the notes that we have given. It's connected to what Mr. Hellenic asked before about training, which is, I mean, regardless of digital or non-digital, training is always to be done because people should be always around and should be trained on new technologies, on new technologies that are to be updated, new rules. It's fundamental in every aspect. Young people, older people, we need training for the whole life, I think, cope with that. So RINA is investing on that, and we will have more news details on that soon. I think by the first flavor you get now from us and in the notes. Okay, thank you very much.